Hello, welcome back to another stream, and today we're going to be learning something called the mash stack. So, if you guys are not familiar, I'm going to search up mash stack Rust, and it should be this one. So, this is something else. This is like a copy of somebody's thing, not the original. Somebody, here it is. So, the mash stack is kind of this, and I guess for context, the reason that I'm trying to, learn this, right, is because there's a project that I want to work on. Sorry, I got a message. Maybe I should be responding to these. So, okay, let's get back to it. This is just a, here it is. So it's just, I want to use Rust, right? I'm learning Rust. So let's try to create some sort of web development stack, or use a web development stack that has the power of Rust, right? And this is kind of what I came up upon. And the what I want to build with this is a meal. I think it's like a meal price, maybe like, so I guess maybe I should maybe make like a journal for this, right? So let's make not delete file. So kind of what I want to make with this, right, is the problem that I have. So here, maybe let's make a directory for this, right? So for, let's cd to our dev github experiments. And you know what? Let's make this active, and then let's do. Let's do maker. Maker. I honestly don't have a good name for this yet. Meal price unit calculator, or MPU calculator. Let's do that. MPU calculator. And then let's cd into that, and let's do git init. Actually, we can just do cargo init. Yes. Okay. So the status, I will go ahead and maybe set up the directory, or like we'll set up the repository, and it'll probably be, you can maybe make it public. So I'm gonna make a new repository, and I'm gonna name this MPU calculator. Centralized platform, or private platform, to track price of your home cooked meals. Yes. Is there a git ignore here? Git status. There is a git ignore. So yeah, no git ignore, and then I'll add a no license, but I'll add an MIT license, I think. So MIT license, and then yes, and then no readme. I'll add it later. And then I need to add git add, git commit sm, init commit, git status, git push, and then obviously I want to add this remote URL, right? So we'll do git remote add and then maybe help. So that's the remote branches. Dash M. It's gonna be main branch. Okay, branch master. I need to understand this better. So I need to create. I want to pull. New agent session. Add a file. I need to. What do I need to do here? Then push using the remote name. So get remote add main, and then the URL for this, which should be maybe my SSH. Get push and then main. Get push set upstream main and then master. Your current branch master has no upstream branch. To push the current branches to the remote as upstream, use this. Alright, so branch master set up the track main master. Get branch. Get status. Your branch is up to date with main/master. So master. Get branch. Can I set master to be default? But I don't know. Can I change? Okay, I'm looking at my other monitor right now. I'm gonna change like the default branches. Add a branch rule set. General. Default branch. I'm gonna search up how to rename a branch in Git terminal. To now run the following command to rename the branch. Git branch master. I want to name it main. I want to delete this branch and then git branch. I wonder if that is fine. Because I really don't know. Why is it called master? Well, why is the branch called master in GitHub? And I don't want to keep on just like outsourcing, like searching it up, because I feel like I just don't know anything about anything, right? I want to make sure I understand why main and then why is it master on my machine, right? So let me. Can I delete this branch? View all branches. And your branches, active branches. Yeah, I want to delete branch. Delete it now. Delete now. Branch cannot be deleted, I think. Yeah, okay. So git status. Git fetch origin. Git fetch main. Main. Git branch. Git status. You know what? I think I'm overcomplicating everything. So let me do cd out ls, and then I'm just gonna remove our MPU calculator. Do sudo rm-r MPU calculator. Alright, Right, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a git clone MPU calculator ls, and then I'm going to do a cargo init, get status, get add everything, get commit dash m, init commit, get push. And it's origin. So like, why is it called origin there? Maybe you should set origin, main origin. I don't know. Let's see if that works. Yes. Okay. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Okay. So now we have our initial repository. Let's start, right? So the app, I guess, that I'm trying to make here, right? So ls, and then maybe let's make, git mvim.git ignore and I don't want to track my notes directory. Don't track my notes. Notes, and then I guess maybe like a design document.md, right? So what problem are we trying to solve? And I'll kind of type up my thoughts here, right? So every day I like to cook my meals. I go to the store and I purchase my ingredients. But I purchase my ingredients, go home, I purchase my ingredients, I cook my meals, and then I eat it. But lately, something has been bugging me, and that is I don't know how much, I'm unsure how much money I am spending on groceries and on my meals. I would like to know how much my meals cost to make and to see if I can save money somewhere. I also think that this information can be useful to see how expensive my meals may be. So I guess TLDR, is that how you do it? Because TLDR, yeah, semicolon. AK, and then here I'm gonna say TLDR I want to know how much each of my meals cost. So now from here, deliver. So I'm gonna say MVP. So 1 should be accessible from my phone. 2, data must be persistent. Persistent. 3, I guess in this case, simple CRUD for 3, for 3 major data types. So tab, say A. So here I want to say meals. So B, ingredients, and then, you know, I guess C, source. And then maybe I, meals, and then this is probably where I create the diagram for what the data types look like. So that's kind of it, and that's really it. That's kind of MVP. I should be able to should be accessible on my phone. Data must be persistent. I can see easily how much my meals cost based on ingredients. Simple as that. That's exactly what I want to build. Nothing more, nothing less. And it should be all built through Rust. Right? So, I guess another thing is, should be easy for a new user to deploy on their own private server. So that's something else I would look into, but from now, the main, it should be accessible from my phone. Data must be persistent. It's for 3 major data types. So tech stack, right? What should our tech stack look like? Well, technologies, like I said, will be the mash stack. Ooh, bro, that fart stinks, bro. My fault, yo. Mash stack. Not this one, not Zooxy. That's kind of crazy. That guy's name is Zooxy. But here, the mash stack is going to be mod. So this would be our Rust-based templating engine that lets us write HTML in Rust. Axiom will be our, I don't want to say middleware, right? So web framework that web framework built on Tokio to handle requests and routing. And it seems, I think for now we're gonna use SQLX. I'm gonna look into this right now. Yeah, so it's database agnostic, so it should work with SQLite, which is what I was thinking about using. So SQLX will be our pure Rust SQL crate for interacting with databases. And then HTMX for interactions between client and server without writing JavaScript. So this is kind of this is going to be the stack right here, right? it Shift U? U? I thought it was like V and U. V. And I thought it was U that you could use to. There's an upper, like to uppercase it. Oh well. Okay, so that's the mash stack, really. And then thinking of actually, and then so how can I make this accessible from my phone? So I'd have to search that up. How to access Oh, okay. So I just gotta type in the address of my IP. Okay. Maybe Tailscale is a good way to do this. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. So it'll seem to be like HTTP and then, you know, IP. So local IP of device and then port. And then maybe I could have this running as a Docker container, probably. Run this as a Docker container. Or as a service. Using systemd. Question. And I guess questions to ask, right? So, questions to ask. Is it safe to run something like this on a local device that I plan for only you as the user to use? Okay, but you know, security comes later. 7J. So yeah, this is gonna be really what we're doing. So how are we gonna learn this? The frameworks are like the mental body framework for this, right? It's gonna be just look at docs, learn a little bit. Cause honestly, I am pretty shit at web dev for the most part. So let me get my water. And let's do this. So I'm thinking up until around 8 o'clock, probably. Maybe around 7:30. I'm not entirely sure when I think I want to walk probably a mile and a half, I think, so that'll put me around 4 miles. So to get my steps in for the rest of today. I want to be in bed by 10:30 today. I've got a long day tomorrow. I'm going to go to the beach. So let's not waste any more time. Get into it. So first things first, if we remember from the mash stack, right? So let's go here. Let's move this here. From the mash stack, we need mod. So I believe it's going to be, we can open up the documentation for this. So let's go to this, right? And we can get it getting started. And then we can just do a cargo add. But I was already playing around with this before. So I want to add a feature. So we're going to be using Axum. So I'm going to do cargo add, I think it's -F. Or maybe I think it's what? let me go to help, and I think I have a dash F. It is features, space in the features that we want to activate. So it's first gonna be cargo add, and then options, and then these are options. So independency. So cargo add mod dash F, and the features I want to add is Axum. Okay. So we can do a cat cargo toml, and yeah, there we go. That's exactly what I was looking for. Next thing I want to add is Axum. So let's click on Axum. Let me open up chat in the other window just in case. And we have our Axum library. So we want to, and then I want the docs. Root, okay. Let's go to the documentation. And yeah, so we'll just add, and then I remember something here, we have to add this, so we have to add Tokyo, so cargo add Tokyo. And then obviously I'm gonna do dash F for the features, we'll do macros, holy, RT, multi, and then I think I'm gonna do, I don't know if the CLI will trigger if I do RT multi thread. Yeah. So and then can we add RT multi thread? There we go. Okay, and then we can do, let's use bat this time, cargo.toml. And yeah, that's what I'm looking for. And that's kind of all I've used so far. No SQLX just yet. Oh, the thing is, that means I need a screw. Okay, and this is something else I'm thinking. So I'm gonna do notes in a design document, right? So how would, if I want this to be available to, I want this to be available to, I want this open source, right? I want this to be open source. But for me, that also means that, say Bob wanted to run this, right? It should be easy as cloning the repo and doing and running cargo run. But if I remember correctly, how would the database be created? Should this be done on a script? Should we check when we run cargo run that a database exists for MPU or MPUC? MPUC. I like that. That's gonna be the name of the application, bro. MPUC. I need to change that on the GitHub repository now. What is that? Meal price unit calculator. Price per meal calculator. I want to know if that's like the correct term for it, because then I gotta get my repo that wrong, man. Price per meal. Is it price per meal calculator? So maybe I should name it PPMC. Cost per meal calculator. Cost per meal calculator. PPMC. Maybe. PMC. PPMC. It's a good name for the GitHub repository. So I want to change this name already. But if I change the name, will it change my clone? I'll probably use sub. Add rename. Set URL. If SSH price per meal ppm calculator. PPMC. We'll name it PPMC. It takes a minute for this to verify. If it's PPMC. taking forever? Oh, it's available. I just never clicked rename. So if I rename it, does the how do I change how do I change the remote link? I have to reset the URL. How to reset URL on GitHub terminal. So git remote -v fetch and push. Git remote set URL origin. And let me move this way, and then get remote. Nice. Okay. Status get fetch. So yes, I'm gonna do a git add git status. So that fixes that. Alright, so we have everything tracked. We have the new name, price per meal calculator. PPMC. It's the future right there. Let's get rid of these. And then yeah, we were on here. So okay, and then we have HTMLX, which I'm gonna do the setup for that. If we go back to the mash stack, right, we need HTMX, so let's open up that link. And the way to do this is to go to the docs, and then to install, I'm gonna get a copy. So I'm gonna control click, and I'm gonna move this here just in case it shows any of my private directories. So I am going to save page as html.js.js, and I'm going to save this into, wait, no, let's go to dev, GitHub, active, put this in, MPU calculator, and then yes, save. Okay, so, and then let's cd out here, let's move MPU calculator and name this PPMC, and then cd PPMC. Nice. Okay, so we kind of have the setup going for this. So now it's time to write some very simple code, right? So mbin source and then main rs. What I want to do first is mbin source. I'm gonna create a views.rs, and this is reason I'm creating a views is just to make this code more modular. And I guess that's kind of how at least the Mash GitHub kind of does it, right? It creates three folders, three files: handlers, main, which set up all the routing. Handlers are the functions that will, I guess, handle any push or GET requests, right? And then views will be us defining functions for, you know, how each page will look, right? So yeah. I guess to start off, I kind of forgot the mod stuff, so let's go to mod, move this, let's look at the documentation and just look at the getting started again, right? So I think here the render or the framework integration, and we'll look at the axiom. So this is how they do it, right? So in the views folder, I'm going to use mod HTML markup, use, and then I'm not going to use any axiom here because this is just going to be just like a pub async fn hello world, and then markup, and I just want you to return hello, it's me, world. And yep, that's it for now. And then source main rs, and then here let's shift O, let's use Axum router, and then routing get, and I thought I added Axum. Maybe, what's trouble saying? Cargo add Axum is, oh, maybe I should do that. Cargo add Axum. Okay, cat cargo, and it's capital .toml, and there's Axum. So engine source main rs, C, right again, so it'll compile. And yes, so we're getting a warning like, hey, this is dead code. That's fine. Let's do the Tokyo main. Yes, this should be async. And then let app equal router new dot route. Let's define the route and define what we're doing. So we're gonna do a get request, and we're gonna call in. But before we do hello world, let's add mod views, and then let's forward to G, and then there, and then let's do views hello world, end of line, write that. Router new, did I do anything wrong? Router new, dot route. Seems fine to me. Let listener equal Tokyo at TCP listener bind, and then we'll bind 0.0.0.0 3000 dot await dot unwrap, and then forward to forward, oh no, it's 2 forwards, and then let's do Axum serve, and then our listener, our app dot into make service dot await dot unwrap, and that. Now for you run cargo run, let's do Clippy cargo run. It's gonna hang because there's nothing, we're not showing anything. And now if we go to HTTP localhost 3000, we get our little website. Nice. Okay, so let's Control C that, and we got, our little hello world. But now I want to practice. I think usually with these type of applications, right, we start by creating the database first, right? That's usually how it works. I'm going to use the bathroom, so I will move this and then put in some nice little text. Went to use the restroom, BRB. did more than go to the bathroom. I made me another bowl of cereal. I'm gonna mute, but I'll be eating. So I finished eating, and yeah. So I guess kind of what we're doing now is I'm trying to design the database for what everything should look like, right? So right now I'm trying to design the meals, and what I'm trying to say is, okay, our meals are gonna have our primary, our ID for the meals. Um, it's gonna have a name, but I need meals are gonna be constructed from a list of ingredients, right? So how can I have a list of ingredients? Wait, can relational databases have Oh, okay. So then, so it's not that it's just that whenever we create ingredients, um, meals can have multiple. I guess we can get all the ingredients specific to that meal. So an ingredients will have a meal ID that that it's related to, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So we have persons, right? So we can imagine this person as being our meals, right? So we have, meal blank, uh, chicken rice bowl, boom, right? And then we have a list of ingredients, and then but then I don't want to have like multiple ingredients. I don't want to have to create multiple tasks, right? So say I create, you have to keep on creating. Like, can't I just use the same ingredient? Maybe the price is different. Database normalization. Do I have to really investigate this?
Okay, so we'd have to create. So we have a list of ingredients as well, and then we'd have to create a meals that map to what ingredients does it have.
This should probably call meal ID.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. Okay, I get it now. So we'll have meal ideal, meal ID, name, and then probably price, right? Sorry. Okay, and then here, do I have a price? No, we can't even upload a price. Mail ID, name, then I guess I'll create, another square here. But I need to do like a Control C, Control V, and then oh yeah, okay, we can change that. And then we'll name this ingredients or ingredient. Should it be person? It shouldn't be. It should be singular. So ingredient. Same thing for over here. It should be meal. This should be. This should be ingredient ID. Should be the name of the ingredients. So I don't know if we have to. Do I have to do this? Is this redundant? Ingredient name. Can I just do name? So I feel like the context gives it, right? Can I just put ID? I don't know. I guess I'll just keep this to red as well. Is it the red right below it? Yeah, it's fine. And then I guess we need a serving size. So we know weight or like amount. And we have an ingredient. So say you want to add an ingredient to a meal. You want to add an ingredient to a meal, you have to obviously, say you want to create an ingredient, right? Create ingredient. Say we're creating an egg.
right? We create egg. Then we give, we create, we add the name egg. We add, I guess, the amount of that ingredient. Now we need a source, right? Where's the source coming from? So say our source is a carton of eggs. Is the name. We have a source ID for this, right? So choose. Okay, where's this ingredient coming from? Right. Create a meal. Oh, maybe the relationships that I'm creating are bad. We can delete this. So delete. So I create a meal, right? I need to add the amount. I need to add an ingredient, right? How much of that ingredient am I gonna use? I need this data to be persistent too. It's a lot harder. I won't lie, than making a CLI tool. Okay, what I'm thinking is I have another idea, right? I guess we'll go with it, right? We'll go with it and we'll see if it works or not, right? So let's go with the selection. I'm gonna Control C, Control V, move this here, and then I am going to highlight this. I want to change everything under this to maybe a light blue text, and I want to call this source. Like, where is that? What's the source of this ingredient, right? So the source, right? It's gonna be name as well. The name of the source. I guess amount of servings. So let's go here. Choose the light blue color, and then so where your source, right? Say it's a carton of eggs, or maybe say Publix brand eggs. So like name, maybe brand. Yeah, because maybe you have a different type of source, right? The source is like a brand, right? So maybe we don't need an ingredient, but we just need a source, right? So name, so source ID, name, brand, right? To give it more information, right? Say you have you can have multiple names, but not multiple brands. It could be this. You can have the same, but not the same brand. Price, right? So, what's the amount that you paid for this? So, let's have price. And then, amount of servings. Okay, just do Control Shift T. Kind of do type text font. Amount of servings, right? So what's their amount of servings in here? And then maybe we have like serving size, right, to help out. What's the amount of servings? And then, so So there's, boom, serving size. I'll do serving size as well. Serving size. So, okay. I want to add eggs from Publix. Let me do, what's the amount of servings that you want to meal ID? And how can I make sure that the meal knows, right? We create an ingredient, right? The ingredient will just be the ingredient ID. It'll have, the serving size that we wanted. And then we'll just have a reference to source, right? What source is this ingredient going to be from? What source is this going to be from, right? So source ID. And this will be, and in this case, I'm going to now then do a red text. Can I do that? No. So let's go back to here. Source ID, foreign key relation. You can only have one source ID. This. And in this case, you can also input, when you click the source ID, it should automatically appear with and you want to search up an ingredient or source in this case, right? Then we need all the macros as well. So let me. I need to extend this. Actually, I can just do another square, right? There we go. Servings, amount of servings. Should serving size be in the ingredient? I think serving size should be the ingredients. So whenever you choose an ingredient, right, you choose the source that you want, and then it'll pop down and we'll list all the sources. We won't list out all the sources. We'll just list them out by the name that you type, right? And then we'll name the ones that kind of agree with it. Then when you click it, you enter in your serving size, and then the serving size will come from. We'll see, okay, how many servings does it have? What's the price? And then we can calculate that. So what we can do is whenever we have our relationships between the meals and the ingredients, we can just calculate it each time by looping through all the ingredients within a meal. We get the source ID, we take the price and we multiply by the amount of servings. So say we have $10. mean, so let's get macro egg. No egg price. I'm gonna have to pull this over because it might pull up my location. So egg price. I just go to Walmart, right? Walmart, and then let's go to the website. Now I'm gonna move this mod shift to 1, and I want to look at. Let me get a milk. Let me get milk, right? Let me get whole milk. Let me get a gallon of whole milk, right? We open it up. We can see the nutrition label. Spawner flame shot, and I will, there. Boom. I will take a screenshot of this. Boom. There. Right. This is just for reference. Right. And then I can also, I will do another screenshot of the price currently. So right there. Do another control. Do another screenshot where it's not like it's not like necessary white space. So Control C, Control B. This is the name of this is a great value whole vitamin D milk. Right. So, how they're calculating this is 2.3 fluid ounces, right? 2.3 cents per fluid ounce. So, one second, I just want to see who just got. But it's moments or moments for me. Okay. So, what's the math on this? Calculator. And then I will close that. Bring this over here. They say 2.96 cents. This is 2.3 cents per fluid ounce, right? So we have 16 servings. So what do I take the price and I divide it by the total amount of servings, right? And it's, I guess that's not it. Was per fluid ounce. This is the amount per serving, right? So there's 16 servings. If I gave myself 2 servings worth of this, right? Then yeah. Serving size. Okay. Now this is where we run into some issues. Right? Like I would have to calculate my serving size. Can I just do it by like serving amount? Like say it's fluid ounce or it's milliliters. Now we're running into a whole like a lot more things to think about now, right? So fluid ounce is 240 milliliters. So what is ml to FL? What was he? So 0.1 milliliter is that many fluid ounces.
So, I guess, what are they doing? They're doing 16 times the amount, 16 servings, and there's 240 milliliters per this container. There's 340 milliliters. And then they're doing 3840 to 129 fluid ounces. And then are they dividing this by the price? Now I can calculate, okay, now I have the, I guess not, have that up there. So 129.8458. And now I divide this by the price, right? So 2.96. And that is not it. Did I 129 fluid ounces, 2.3 cents per fluid ounce. Where are they getting these numbers? 240 times 16, right? How do I get 2.3 fluid ounces? .3840 milliliters, right? So we did 16 times 240 milliliters. I want to get the price per fluid ounce. Do I multiply it? Why would I multiply it? About 129.8458, and then I times this by 2.96. 384. No. Shoot. What am I doing wrong here? I want to get the fluid cents per, the 2.3 cents per fluid ounce. So 1 fluid ounce is 2.3 cents. Is that what they're saying, right? Are you saying that 129.8458, that's how many fluid ounces? If I want to find out how many, do I divide this by 16 instead? No, but that's 16 servings. It's 8.8, and then I divide this by 2.96. It's 2.7. Right? 2. Yeah, because, so I want to get how many fluid ounces, so maybe we'll do maybe I'll just do this. So what's 240 milliliters? That's around 8. It's this number. Let's go to, I guess, calculator.com. It's better. Maybe Desmos. Mathmo. Let me do Desmos calculator. I used to use this all the time. So that is the price. That's 240 milliliters. That, and I times this by 16. Then I take the ands and divide that by 2.96. What is that? Yo, I can't do simple math. That's crazy. I want to get the price per serving, right? So would I just take what's this? This is the amount of fluid ounces. So how would I calculate the amount of, this is 240 ml. This is 1 serving size. We have 16 of them. We get this number. It's the amount of servings within a bottle. then I'm dividing. This is the price. And this is gonna give me for what if I multiply this by so for this is what per fluid ounce. So this is giving me the price there. So per serving it costs no, this can't be it. That's not the dollars, this is not the money. Per serving you're saying it's $43. No. Per fluid ounce. This is saying so for 16 servings, so what's this number? What is this giving me? This, what's this? If I wanted to get the price per serving, right, it'd be 16. Right, there's 16 servings. One serving is 5 cents. Is that factual? Is ants times 2.96. Oh wait, I'm doing it all wrong. I gotta, it's the other way around, no? So for 2.96, how many is it per serving? It's 0.185. So by that logic, it should be ants. Yeah. And that times it by 100. Or is this like saying like this is 296 pennies? Why do I have to multiply this by 100? Or by 2 decimal places, which is 100. Do I get the same number if I just do 8.11? 5365? No, because that's giving me, there's 16, so 16 serving. That's saying like, okay, per serving of milk, it's 0.185, right? If I wanted to find out the price, so 240, and then I times that by ands, and it should give, no, it'd be okay. So we want to find out per milliliter how much is 240. Is that not, no. I times it by 2, so and we could say this is 8.115365. Yeah, it's the same. 2.3 cents. Okay, so it should be price and then the amount of servings. So serving size, type. Is it milliliter? Now this is, I think maybe we do all that logic on the other end. Yeah, I think so. Oh, it's a lot I think about now. That took way longer than it should have. I know. this guy low-key wants to, I don't know. I need to finish up soon so I can get my steps in. Sorry. Okay. So the amount of servings, and I think on the front end side we should handle the logic of calculating the price. Like we just grab, you know, what before we do when they input their serving size on the front end, we should probably have some sort of, you know, what type, right? What type of what type of, what, I guess, measurement. What's the measurement, right? Is it just one serving size? You know, just serving size one. We'll do the calculations, right? Because it's a lot simpler if you just do one. But say you don't know, maybe you tracked it in grams, right? So then we'll have to do some conversions for that, right? So say they tracked an ingredient, they said grams, we'd have to calculate the amount of serving. We need to know what, we know the amount of servings, but what's the actual serving size, right? And like that measurement for that. So source, I need the serving size. I need to know the amount of servings, and then also when you create the source, what's the serving size? So we need serving size, and that could be a number. And then here I need measurement type. Measurement. And do I need like a table for the different types of measurements that we have? And that'd be pretty simple. It would be grams, milliliter, yeah, right? So when you input it, it has to be of a certain type. I don't want to use QR codes because that would then mean, you know, all that type of stuff. And I think I'm just gonna have them enter general macros. So measurement. Would it be worth creating a measurement table? And it'd be a foreign key. Can you specify a type? Or can you create a custom type? I don't know. I'm just going to create a measurement table. When in doubt, create another table. Another table. Another table for this. And let's change this to, you know, a purple. Why not? Let's erase. Wait. Erase. And the text here we can just get rid of. So this will be measurement type. Is that a good way to say it? Defined as an active measuring, it could be understood. Yeah, a measurement unit. I'm gonna name it that. A measurement unit.
So measurement unit. Measurement ID, measurement unit, and then let me go to tools, and then font size. Measurement ID, I guess the name of the measurement. So, and then we'll automatically create these for the user. Measurement ID, name. So what's the name of this measurement? It's grams and maybe abbreviation. Oh. Okay, I'm over here like letting my brain just reset. Oh wait, why is it? Let me set live chat. There we go. Sorry. Move that. Kind of want to see YouTube. See if anybody actually joined. And I'm gonna name this as a foreign key. Measurement unit. Yeah, like what's the measurement unit of this, John? Let me up. There we go. And then here I can just serving size, and what's the measurement unit of that serving size? So say you put like 50, and then the measurement unit for that's gonna be, you know, whatever that is. Amount of servings, serving size, measurement unit for, you know, to calculate that. Name, measurement ID, and then just, you know, a measurement unit and the name of that unit, and we'll pre-create these. And then I think lastly I should probably create the meal to ingredients table, and then it's just a table of the meal and, you know, the IDs associated with that.
This is kind of a decent project, bro. I won't lie. Like, it seems simple, but at least making this from scratch, no AI. This must have been like back in the day. A lot of planning, but I do want to make sure everything works fine. So I'm thinking. So I'm thinking of this stuff here, right? If I create, meal to ingredient mappings. Yes, so maybe. What should I name this? It's a meal, right? Should it be like recipe? That be a good name, or meal to ingredient assignments? It's a recipe. I think that's a good way to put it. And then text. I'm gonna name this recipe. Recipe. Before we do anything, can we change this to a different color? Let's change this to yellow. And we just reached our final one, hopefully. Draw a line. I'll change that. I'll go here. Here, boom. Lettuce, yellow, boom. Boom, boom. And then text. And I could just click here to change this to white. Recipe. Then, we'll have a recipe ID, which we won't really need, I don't think. And then, boom. Another line. That I want is going to be person ID. Yeah, I will name this, ingredient ID or meal ID. So foreign key. Foreign key, and then an ingredient ID. And I think that's it. And then I can search for the recipe for the meal. We can just but then every single time we load, we have to fetch everything, I guess, right? That's how it is gonna be regardless, I think. Maybe a JSON would have been better. But I think this is the more relational. meal to ingredient. Maybe that might be a more intuitive name, right? And I should keep the name similar, but honestly, I should know what the idiom for naming tables in, or what, like, these type of variable names, right? So meal to ingredient ID, I guess, right? So MTI ID, meal to ingredient, MUID, source ID, ingredient ID, meal ID, MTI, so meal to ingredient, meal ID, ingredient ID, foreign key, foreign key. I need to save this, bro, before I accidentally. Let me move this to the other monitor so I can save this. So save, and then PPMC planning. I've been live for almost 2 hours, and I think I have a general idea of, like, you know, what's expected. So PPMC planning, I like that. I like that. Yeah, I think we're at a good place. We have all our tables to a certain extent. I think serving size. So say you input 50, and maybe, I don't know if I should want to give the freedom for, we should take the measurement unit and you can only enter in that measurement unit. But then, you know, I also like to sometimes use grams and, you know, my own type of. So maybe you can put, like, you know, preferred, the measurement unit that you used, and then we'll see if they match, right? Yeah, I like that. So we'll do, you know, you know, MUID. So yeah, MU measurement unit. So MUID foreign key. I'm doing this because, say a user, see for me, right? So say this is in, the default for the source is in fluid ounces, or maybe it's in ounces, and then I use milliliters, right? So I would like it, if I decided to create the ingredient in the serving size, say I did, this would be a number, say I did, and maybe a portion, like 1 serving, right, is also a measurement unit. Like, that's your measurement unit. Maybe this is optional, so you did 1 serving, and then maybe serving size, dang, I don't know, measurement unit, and, like, you know, the weight, right? That's interesting. So should I have a weight category here? serving size, and then I'm thinking maybe having weight. So say you put, this could probably be optional, and the other one could be, one of them can be not optional. You feel me? Measurement ID, and then maybe the weight, and that's gonna be in a number. So here I'll do weight. Your ID name, source ID. We'll use that to calculate, like whenever we go through all these, we'll have the ingredient ID, and then we have the relation to the source ID to calculate each of those. So I don't know if I should delete serving size and just have the weight. Okay. Maybe I get rid of serving size and just leave it as weight measurement unit, right? And I could maybe just configure it for the front end where you have to choose, like you say, oh, okay, did you just do one serving size? What was your serving size? Oh, I did one. No. We can calculate it. No serving size for this. No serving size. Just weight. And we calculate the serving size on our end, right? So we have the weight, and then we have that other thing. Yeah, I think that'd be best. Oh my goodness, I gotta swear all over my eyes. Okay. I think that's everything I'm gonna do for now. I need to go walk outside. So that's kind of the plan that we have. If you're watching this past like the actual live, then feel free to critique this design for the project that I'm making. This is a price per meal calculator, right? And so we have our meal, right? And then we have our ingredients. Our ingredients will have a name, or maybe that name should come from the source, but I have a name. So say you name it egg, and the source ID comes from a carton of eggs. Then you have the measurement of the amount of ingredients that you used, right? So say an egg, maybe in this case, I can see maybe it's like one egg. So maybe I'll do servings like maybe you did one serving size, right? So yeah, we'll bring back the one serving size. So we'll do serving size, right? So say you put one here, and then we can easily we'll reference that. Serving size. Maybe we can add like one egg into a measurement unit. Measurement unit will go here, so the name of the measurement. So say this could be like LB, egg, ounce, gram, things like that. And then on the front, like on the end, we'll do like the own calculations. So weight, right? So say they entered in like 50 gram, like 50. And the measurement unit ID is grams. We'll do 50, and then of that, right? Or serving size, we'll disregard the measurement unit. Well, we do one serving size. The measurement unit is, say, gram. I did 50 as my serving size.
and then you choose the measurement unit ID. So maybe we get a weight, and then yeah, say this is one egg, right? So you can just filter through your measurement units. So, or maybe it reference this, right? So we'll kind of conform to this. Maybe on the front end we'll do some trauma transfer for that, right? So I don't know. What's a way to allow people to select their own custom serving sizes? I don't know. All right, then we have our source. Then we have our source ID. It's the primary key. We have the name of that source. We'll see. Carton of eggs, the brands from Publix. Just another way to filter the price that you paid for that carton of eggs. So say it's like $10.99. Amount of servings, there's 18 eggs, so 18 servings. Serving size, it's one egg. And then say it's one. Well, yeah, it's one, and then measurement unit, and that measurement unit will be maybe an egg, right? So yeah, and then our meal to ingredient mappings. So MTI is just the meal to ingredient ID. Then we have our meal ID, and then whenever we create an ingredient and we add it to the meal, we'll create a meal to ingredient mapping, and then we'll use that ingredient ID, the one that we added to it, to create it, right? And then we'll keep, and then if we wanted to, display the meal, we'll do, meal, and then obviously maybe we'll just show them the price, and then just a drop down menu will show you all the ingredients. But to calculate the price for a meal, right, is we would search, we'll do a query where it's like select, well, just to get it, we'll do here. So we have our meal ID, so we want the meal that we want to show, right? So we'll do meal select. Select meal to ingredient ID, where the meal ID select in this case, meal ID from meal to ingredient, where meal ID in select all of this, right, where it's equal to meal ID, or select all the ingredients IDs, actually, yeah. So select ingredient ID from meal to ingredients, where meal ID, where meal ID is in select wherever that is, right? Yeah, so select, in this case, I want to select all the ID, I want to select the meal IDs, select meal ID from meal to ingredient, where ingredient ID, no, from where, so select, select the meal ID from meal to ingredients, where meal ID is equal to meal ID. And then it'll give me however many rows, and then I could just take all the ingredient IDs, pass that back to the front, to the back end, I guess you could say, and then from there I'll iterate through all those ingredient IDs. So for each ingredient ID, I will have a function that'll pass in. I will have a function where I'll get the source ID. I'll get, I guess in this case maybe the price per wherever, the amount that you have, right? And then I'll calculate it. Then I'll return that back to that main function, and then we'll keep on plus equaling that. And then once we're done calculating all of that, we'll return that to the meal, and then we'll show that to the user. And then obviously maybe but I wish there was a way where I didn't have to calculate it each time. I think once we have all this information, we can calculate it, and then we'll add it to here. So price. So price as well. So calculated price, and then we don't have to keep calculating it each time. I think that's could work fine. But if you guys understood my thought process there, please leave a comment, and and kind of see how maybe we can make this slightly better. And maybe once we actually start creating the database and then maybe start actually interacting with it, we can see where we may be falling short with this application. So thank you guys for tuning into the stream, and whenever you're watching this, you guys got this.